What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today, I'm back up doing once again, do another deck profile. Not just any deck profile, but we got Garlic Jr. Before we get into that, remember there's buttons, there's links, there's stuff down there that can help you out, helps us out. Why not? Click them. Yeah, Garlic Jr. was a deck that I absolutely did enjoy back in set 11. But just because of the idea I have to constantly change decks every week, I kind of fell away from it. We got the Chi promos. I built another version of it, absolutely enjoyed it. And then I hadn't really touched it since then until this past set where we got the new Roshi promos. And I was like, you know what? I need to bring this deck back out. They're giving me promos. I have to play it. So let's get into it real quick. Garlic Jr., both on the front and back, has Overlord, where once turned you can put a certain bottom of your deck and draw one card. That is one of the key elements to this deck and why this deck is so good. Auto, when this card attacks, you draw one. And then your awakens 4 or less life, or if you have a Unison with a specific cost of 3 in play, and you draw one card, go down to 6 life, just restand energy, yada yada yada. Once you awaken, you maintain Overlord because it's amazing. Auto, when this card attacks, draw one card. But now, auto, when one of your opponent's cards attacks you, you may choose one yellow Demon Clan card with energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it in rest mode. If you do, negate this skill for the turn. There's really 2 options to play from there, and we'll get into when we get those cards. But the ability this deck has to control your opponent's turn is fantastic, especially with that one auto. So, to get the deck going, you need to see one of 2 cards. The first one is Gashu. It's a 15k, 2 energy. You can pay 1 energy to play him if you overlord a card. But the main thing is activate main. If your leader card's Yellow Demon Clan, and you discard this card from your hand, add it to 1 Mako Star from your deck to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Mako Star. After playing it this past weekend, the deck overall did pretty well. I ended up going 2-1. And maybe adding an extra Mako Star could be beneficial, especially just for charging purposes. So ideally, once you've seen one, you play your field. Afterwards, you could use this effect again to pull another one to your hand. And that way you can charge it, and that way it turns other cards on. But Mako Star, it's a field card. Auto, when you activate this card, you search up to top 5 cards of your deck, add it to 1 yellow Demon Clan among them to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. That's any Demon Clan, which is pretty much 90% of the deck when it comes to battle cards. Secondary auto, if your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan, at the end of your turn, choose 1 Yellow Demon Clan card with energy cost of 2 or less in your hand. Play it with its skills negated for a turn. There's only one card we play with that, and I'll kind of go over that one when we get there. So now you establish a Mako Star. Potentially, you may be awakened. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Roshi. This is the original Roshi. It came with the archetype. Servant auto. If your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan, when this card's played, draw 1 card. And you can't activate autos on this copy of this card for a turn. This is a card I would like to just play during my opponent's turn, where if they swing with me, this is an option for it. I can just pretty much play it in rest mode to draw 1 card, and even at the beginning of my turn, I can activate Overlord to draw a secondary card because of it. You can play it at the end of your turn using the Mako Star, but then you don't get to draw, and it's kind of useless. The card I want to play off the Mako Star is Yellow Yamcha, which is a blocker. So it comes into play with no skills, but then as soon as I pass turn, it gets its skills back, and now it's just an extra protection. And a lot of times, if this is the first card I play, I'll let it sit there and take the first couple damage, and then have a 20k beater going to turn opponent. Another card I like to use during my opponent's turn is Chi, because she's fantastic. Auto, when this card is played, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards or Unisons and switch it to rest mode. So they swing with me, say, the leader. I can play this card and tap a Unison out or another battle card or a battle card. It's just versatile, and I absolutely love the idea of being able to control it. Now let's go over this monster of a card. The new Roshi. Such a great card. So, auto, if your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan, look up top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 Yellow Demon Clan card, among them to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. That's just when it's played. I read it for but it was eroded, so when this card is played. Activate main, limit 1. If your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan, and Mako Star is in your battle area, and you place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, play this card in rest mode. So initially, you could pay 1 energy, turn 1 for Mako Star, activate the main to play the Roshi, and then you could bottom deck a card, search top 5, and add another card to your hand. And then you can turn around, and then on turn 1, Overlord, Roshi, to the bottom of your deck, and then draw another card. It's really good. And because we're overlording all these cards, and then we're immediately shuffling them again because of another Roshi. You see these cards so many times. One of my matches was against Fluff, and he was like, how many of those cards do you have in your deck? I'm like, man, they just cycle. Like, I'm just putting them back in the deck and just cycling them. Like, you're not KOing them. I'm just putting them back in there. So it's actually by far, this card right here, in my opinion, has completely changed the ability of this deck and how well it performs. I do play 3 Vinegar. It's another searcher. It can also be played off the leader's ability because it is considered Demon Clan. It's a 2-cost card, so I could play it when my opponent attacks me to look at the top 5 cards in my deck. I play up to 1 yellow Demon Clan card with energy cost 2 or less among them. It does. Their skills are negated. No, sorry. It just plays it in rest mode. Energy cost 2. Other than copies of this, it plays in rest mode. So yeah. So like if I don't have a target I want to play, I could just actually play him during my opponent's attack and then search top 5 for another card to play in rest mode, and hopefully that card will have an effect I can go off of. And he's also could be played for 1 energy if I activate Overlord as well. Garlic Jr., the 3-drop. This came from EX15, and it was a fantastic card for this deck. So what makes this card so good is that you could pay 1 energy for it. Unlike the old school Garlic Jr., you had to pay straight 3 for it, and then hopefully awaken turn 3, and then pay 1 for Garlic Jr., but then you're tapped out. And that was always kind of like a thing I did not like doing. But with this card right here, for 1 yellow energy, if your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan, and it's your turn, when one of your Yellow Demon Clans is removed from the battle area by a skill, play this card from your hand. So you can initially play this turn 2 if you wanted to, which is great. Has an auto once per turn, switches card to rest mode. When you activate Overlord skill, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. And then it has unique indestructible. So 9 times out of 10, it's staying alive. If it gets nagged out, unfortunately it's nagged out, and it's a very low cost power. It's 10k, so it's easy to fully nag out. But if it stays if you're not playing its red, this could be a really strong card at clearing boards. And what makes this card so good is that it starts up the next engine, which is the 5-drop Garlic Jr., which is a beast of a card. So it's a 30k. It's going to stay on the board. There's not a lot of things that can neg 30. Indestructible, unique, crit. EX evolve for 1 yellow energy with on top of a Garlic Jr. with energy cost of 3. Overlord as well, but here's what makes this card so great and why I think the new promo is fantastic with this engine. Activate me once a turn. If your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan card, look at the bottom card of your deck. If it's a Yellow Demon Clan with energy cost of 2, you may play it. Otherwise, return to the bottom of your deck. This Roshi can be cycled so many times. So not only on, say, typically turn 3 is when I'm awakening. So not only am I immediately overlording with the leader's front side effect, paying 1 to play the Garlic Jr. here, then awakening, resetting energy, activating main if I needed to play the Roshi, do the search, overlord on the backside of the leader, and then using activate main on the 5-drop to just replay it and get another search off that, and then overlord it from that one again. So it's just tons of draw on turn 3, which I feel like the deck kind of needed, and this just works fantastic for it. And it's a 30k crit. You can't go wrong with that. So with all the overlords and all the searching, I wanted a way to kind of control what I see. So we do play a few Unisons. I don't play in the main board the 3-drop baby. Instead I play 818 because of her +2 is look top 3 cards of the deck and place them on top of your deck in any order. So that way I can actually look at what I'm going to draw before I overlord. And then the -2 is that I could draw 3 cards, choose 2 cards in my hand, and place on top of my deck. But it's an easy way of building markers because of this guy right here. It's good yellow Unison. You play them, but most likely it's way more than 3 markers. Then you can do the -3 to get triple attack, and then buff up your leader and this card until your opponent's next turn. Because we play Unisons, 2 prideful transformations. They're just great. Taps card for they come in play. 1 release from evil, just because it's a good way of clearing the card out. For a little defense, we play 3 Mecha Freezes because it's just good yellow. We want to make sure we protect our battlefield and control our opponent's attacks with also other cards being applied as well. and it makes your opponent tap down cards in order to attack. Just make sure your extra cards are in your drop or energy. And for extra cards, 2 Final Flash. I like alternate arts, that's why I'm using 1 of each. 1 Power of a Super Saiyan. Probably the best negate for this deck, and only for this deck, Energy Field. It is a counterattack, negate attack, and you can't activate copies of this card for the turn. If you have 4 or more yellow Demon Clan cards in play, your opponent can only attack once more for the turn. And then permanent, if you have 4 or more yellow Demon Clan cards in play, you can activate this card in your hand without paying its energy cost. So initially, it can be free if you time it out right. One of the ways I've had it done before was to choose not to overlord a card, and then in my turn and play Yamcha. So now I have 4 battle cards. The 2 Grog Juniors, which are considered Demon Clans. I have Yamcha, and I had Roshi in rest mode. My opponent attacked. I activate the counterattack skill in here, but I still proc the leader's auto to play a Chi-Chi. So not only am I controlling the amount of attacks they have left, but also able to tap down a card that forces them not to be able to attack with. And more extra cards, good negates as well. Freezes Army's Reinforcements. Gets you down to 5. Sorry, gets you down to 4 if you need to. 1 Tyrannical Blow. Sometimes this card gets sided out a lot, but it helps controlling what your opponent's playing. 1, oh my gosh, dog hair. 1 core counter. I mean, it's yellow. You gotta play it, I feel like. And then my super combos. Once again, alternate arts. Gotta enjoy them. Krillin's skill still Chile because I like tapping down my opponent's field. And then last but not least, Piccolo and Son Gohan. I mean, it's just overall good. I mean, could you play other things? Possibly. But in my opinion, this is universally a good offensive and a defensive card. And I kind of like that as a choice. So that is the main deck. I'm going to go over the sideboard real quick, just mainly because the way I build decks, especially since we play in a best of 1 sideboard, is that my main deck and my sideboard are all one deck for me, and I just choose what 15 cards I don't want to add. So, depending on the matchups, Garlic Jr. 3-drop, mainly because of the auto, if your leader card is yellow Demon Clan, when this card is played, activate this skill. During your opponent's next turn, your leader cards and Unison cards don't take damage from attack cards that have double strike or triple strike skills. So, depending on the matchup, if I feel like this is going to be important, I definitely will side this in. And as soon as I see it, I would play it before I know my opponent's go off turn. 2 additional negates that could potentially pop a card, mainly because our Unison can get a ton of markers. I do sideboard 2 of the baby Unisons, only because it's a blocker and it can come in handy. And if I have 2 or more yellow battle cards in rest mode, my leader gains 5k power. Because yellow, Poutine, Bergamo, an extra cooler, another Tyrannical Blow. And like I mentioned, we have a Unison that does ramp up, so we have Dragon Fist Goku. Play 1 Piccolo Demonic Transformation. It's a counterplay. You play this card, the card being played, energy costs 4 or less. Play with skills negate it. It could be for battle cards, it could be for Unisons, but it is reduced by 1, so it's a 2 cost, and it's considered Demon Clan, so it works for a lot of things. Mecha board just for particular matchups. In case I come across blue. And if I feel like I need to side into a very powerful card, even though it won't have double strike, the deck itself can swing pretty frequently, and it works out that way. And last but not least, I'm going to quickly go over the Z deck. The new Z battle card, Frieza. It does none of its effects do anything for this deck, but it's a 1 energy, 1 Z card for a 15k battle card. I just had to go with it. 3 Goku's Barriers. It can choose one of your opponent's leader Unisons or battle cards in rest mode, and it can attack in your next turn. And then when your opponent plays a card, I may play 1 of my Z energies in my drop area. If I do, choose 1 of my opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. What Oolong really should be 2, but it's not. And 1 Vegeta. Overall, I hope you all enjoy that. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below. Comments. Let me know how your Garlic Jr. builds are and what you think I should change. Like always, read your cards, know your place, and fluff out.